All right, folks. Thousands of people arguing the abortion issue surrounded the Indiana State House and filled its corridors Monday as state lawmakers began consideration of a Republican proposal to ban nearly all abortions in the state of Indiana. Wow. I better get my abortion while I still can. And of course, Vice President Kamala Harris has denounced this effort during a meeting with Democratic legislators. Harris said that during the trip to Indianapolis, that the abortion ban proposal reflects a healthcare crisis in the country. Despite the bill's abortion ban language, anti-abortion activists lined up before a legislative committee to argue that the bill wasn't strict enough and lacked teeth.
We're standing up for babies. We are just obedient to God. We're supposed to stand up for those that can't speak for themselves.
I'm a nurse, and abortion is health care. Abortion saves lives, and we need to continue to have access to health care as women.
Your rosaries off my ovaries! Keep your rosaries off my ovaries!
First and foremost, I'm a Christian, so I see a lot of people that don't have hope, and I'm praying for them.
Separate the church and state! 2, 4, 6, 8! Separate the church and state!
So as you see, there are a lot of people on both sides of this issue. It's a very heated issue. A lot of people don't know this because the media is liberal and therefore dishonest, unfortunately. But 40% of the women in America consider themselves pro-life. From the last Gallup poll from some years ago, I think it's about 2018, I think it was, they said 40% of women consider themselves pro-life, about 40%. That's a lot of women. Now, it's not the majority, but that is a lot of people, a lot of women. The way that it is projected in this country, in the mainstream corporate liberal media, is that no women are anti-abortion. That it's only men trying to control women's bodies. But they're completely derelict in their duty and ignoring people like Kristi Noem and Kay Ivey and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. Those women represent a huge swath of America's white female population. You know, I know they like to play this gender war nonsense because it's good for business. And again, they have an ideology that is about turning men and women against each other. But look, 55% of white women voted for Donald Trump in 2020. 53% of them voted for him in 2016. When are they going to acknowledge that? When we talk about this issue. That's one of the reasons why I have so much resentment for the liberal media as a leftist. Okay? Like, we can't win if we don't have an accurate assessment of what's going on. You know? The way the media perceives it is as if Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi are the ones who represent the majority of America's women. No. Lauren Boebert and MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, represent the majority of America's white women. They really do. You know? Obviously, you have some white women on the left, you know, and that's great, you know. God bless them. The liberal ones, not so much. But the left, absolutely. You know, a lot of, there's a lot of super based women, especially young women. If you're on social media a lot, I try to stay plugged in on social media. This newer generation are really understanding the pitfalls of capitalism. You know, I'm going to sound like Kwabena in the last hour, but capitalism is a system built on exploitation. And we're going to get into that when it comes to how Big Pharma has been able to perpetrate this fraud about SSRIs on us, and about this other thing that we're going to talk about regarding the healthcare in the next few segments. But capitalism is an exploitative system, and there's a lot of young women, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern. If you're out there on social media, people like Abby Martin are out there. Fiorella Isabel. There's a lot of women out there, young women out there, but it's important to state that, again, the majority of the white women in this country voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. And until we take a accurate accounting for that, and the media stops trying to sort of pretend that white women are this super liberal group, when black men are more liberal than white women are. We're more leftist and more liberal, any way you want to slice it, economically and socially, okay, than white women are. But we get painted as having male privilege and being a part of the patriarchy anyway, in spite of the fact we vote for the people that the so-called feminists tell us to vote for 80% of the time. But let's get back to the lecture at hand. Indiana is one of the first Republican state legislatures to debate tighter abortion laws during the U.S. Supreme Court decision last month overturning Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court ruling is expected to lead abortion bans in roughly half of the states. Wow, that will definitely be something that I did not think I would see in my lifetime. Now, the ultimate fate of the Indiana abortion bill in the Republican-dominated legislature is uncertain, as leaders of of Indiana Right to Light, the state's most prominent anti-abortion group, are decrying the state proposal as weak and lacking enforcement provisions. Republican Senate leaders said the bill will not add new criminal penalties against doctors involved with abortions, but they would face possibly having their medical licenses revoked for breaking the law. Numerous anti-abortion activists argued against, including the exceptions of allowing abortions in cases of rape and incest. And this is one of those situations where the right wing is going to have to accept that the overwhelming majority of the country, like 2/3 of the country, if I'm not mistaken, about 70% of the country, did not want Roe v. Wade overturned and do think that at least some abortion should be legal. Okay? That is not a very popular stance whatsoever. And I think for the right, let me say, a lot of right-wingers are smartly trying to temper their reactions to the overturning of Roe v. Wade. You didn't see them on Fox News and everywhere celebrating like you would think they would after a 50-year crusade to get rid of this, because they know that this is one of the few things that could help the Democrats. You know, I've been on here burying the liberals for the last 2 years saying, man, you guys are going to get killed in the midterm elections. But the Republicans just bailed out the Democrats big time. And you have Republicans out there talking about, yeah, let's get rid of Brown versus Board of Education now. You know, let's get rid of Obergefell, which was the decision that allowed gay marriage to happen. Whoo, boy. When you get to that situation, when you start pushing those very unpopular opinions into the public, people like Ted Cruz and all these others, the right-wing politicians, I truly do believe that the Democrats and Republicans, and I've said this for a long time because I've always compared it to professional wrestling, I really do think that they are cooperating with each other. The Republicans knew that they were going to sweep into Washington, and therefore they would have to actually govern and legislate in November. And I don't think they want to do that. They do not want to do that. Now, the Democrats don't want to do it either. And how do you prevent that? You create a sort of divided House and Senate. You create these sort of divided Congress. And so ever since this has happened, the Republicans have done nothing but seemingly purposely sabotage themselves to help the Democrats get back into contention. And the exact opposite happens too. Whenever it looks like the Democrats are going to win, they start shooting themselves in the foot and start collaborating with the Republicans to help them out. You know, I still know people to this day who can't understand why Barack Obama, when he had the biggest majorities that a Democrat had had in 75 doggone years, didn't put the pedal to the metal and govern, legislate the way FDR did. You could do that. You got the biggest majorities anybody's had in 75 years in the Democratic Party. For a few months he did. And he still had simple majorities until 2010 when he got massacred. But again, he didn't want that. Joe Biden doesn't want that. And the Republicans didn't want the expectations of having to completely sweep in November and completely do it, all the crazy stuff they promised to their base. These people all work for the same corporate state. All of them. They're all funded by the same people. AIPAC is in both of their pockets, as one of our callers from last week talked about when it came to certain candidates here in Indiana. Wall Street is in both of their pockets. Big Pharma. Oh, well, I ain't done with Big Pharma this show. We're going to talk about Big Pharma today. We're going to talk about Big Pharma. But they all work for the same people, folks. And until you're ready to grow up and understand that they work for the same people, that they are basically the Globetrotters and the Washington Generals, you ain't ready to really do politics. You're not mature enough to understand politics. This is pro wrestling here, folks. Now, before I go to a commercial break, because I do have to go to a commercial break, I just want to say there are a few things that are getting on my nerves about how this abortion topic is handled. People blaming religion for this. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of the people who are against abortion are religious. But there have been secular states that banned religion as well. The Soviet Union banned abortion for 20 years when it was up. Ceausescu's Romania was a communist state. They banned abortion. Even currently, places like China and Vietnam put restrictions on abortion. I think just like when it comes to a lot of the LGBT stuff, there is an innate thing in human beings to not want those things to proliferate too much in your society. Okay? If you think about it, we were put on this earth to be fruitful and multiply. And abortion do not help you be fruitful and multiply. So, I mean, you can blame it on religion till you're blue in the face, but communist states that are secular have banned abortion as well, at least for periods of time. Again, if all of us were aborted, none of us would be here. So obviously, like I said, there's going to be some natural aversion to abortion no matter what you do, religion or not. And I hope the left gets away from this practice of declaring everybody's common sense ideas and natural instincts that we've got from thousands of years of evolution as wrong. Okay? The same people who talk about evolution and talk about how they love science so much are oftentimes telling people, oh, your common sense, you have to completely disregard what evolved in you. Okay, well, guess what? Evolution has made men men and women women for a reason. Okay? That's what evolution did. That's science. Okay? And science tells me I can't procreate with a dude pretending to be a woman. Okay? Now, God bless him. Shouldn't nothing happen to him. I'm not going to attack him, but it's not science for me to be into that. Okay, I haven't evolved to be into that. Okay, and I haven't evolved to be in love with killing fetuses 100%. Okay? Now, I'm pro-choice, but I don't think it should be celebrated either. Okay? Like, so please, let's get it together, folks. And for all you out there, if you got any opinions, please give me a call, 219-885-1371. That number again, 219-885-1371. When we get back, I'm going to go in on Big Pharma. You better believe that. We're going in on Big Pharma and their lies. And a certain celebrity might have been vindicated by this study coming out this week. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this.